Hey yo, Schizo Jitsu here. Welcome to the first episode of MMA Grind. I'm doing a rebrand from Schizo Radio MMA. We're called MMA Grind now. So this is a UFC 306 breakdown and predictions. I'm only doing the last fights. The Sphere is finally here. UFC 306, highly anticipated, probably since last Mexican Independence Day last year of 2023. Dana announced that they wanted to do a card at the Sphere, and so far it's kind of been like, I mean, they're kind of treating it kind of like as a disaster as far as like Dana kind of saying it costs like 20 million, I think, production so far. The card, obviously, we all know is not the best card in the world. I'm only going to talk about the main three fights, the co-main, the co-main, and the main. Because the rest of the card, honestly, is like there's a lot of people there's a couple people that only had like two fights on the card in the UFC. So, I mean, obviously, it's not a lot of names. It's surrounded, the theme is Mexican Independence Day. So, they're trying to go around that theme as well. There's some Mexican fighters on here. I am kind of looking forward to Little Rodriguez fight against Ode, the Jamaican fighter. They had some beef, and they were going after, talking crap, talking shit. The last Rodriguez is cussing him out, in Spanish. And thank God Dana doesn't know Spanish, because who knows what would have happened to Rodriguez if he would have. But he kind of stole the press conference just because Sean O'Malley, big of a star as he is, he's not the best on the mic, and neither is Marab as far as just selling the fight or talking crap. So, I mean, it kind of stole the show a little bit, kind of helped save the press conference, otherwise lackluster press conference. So, I mean, it was it was good to see that. I'm interested in that fight now. Before I kind of whatever, that fight I do kind of want to see, what I mean? Obviously, Raul Rosas Jr., I think he's opening the pay-per-view. He's a up-and-coming rising star in the UFC. A lot of potential there. So there's that fight as well. But there's not really a whole lot of fights that I'm interested, to be honest with you. I'm just going to talk about the main three fights. I mean, this is a fight. The Coco main is Brian Ortega against Diego Lopez. And this fight was originally supposed to happen a couple of pay-per-views ago. And Brian Ortega basically pulled out due to sickness or being ill. I don't know if it was a weight cut or whatever, but literally the day of the fight, and Lopez ended up fighting Dan Ige, and really like hours notice. Like he had like 2-3 different opponents for that card, and he got the victory, but it wasn't the most impressive victory. Dan Ige obviously came to fight, so I don't think you saw the best Lopez that day because he didn't know who his opponent was going to be. I think he had to cut weight twice, so I mean that made it really difficult. But I mean, honestly, on that card, I did pick Brian Ortega to win that fight, and I'm going to stick with my guns with that one. I'm still going Brian Ortega. This is, I don't know how far removed from Tracy that he is, but this is going to be interesting to see because like this is the whole new. I don't know if it's new and improved Brian Ortega, but as far as his mindset, I think it is. He's starting to take training a lot more seriously, even though he came in a little bit pudgier, this time. But compared to Diego Lopez, obviously a young, hungry buck, he's going to be in better shape than Ortega. Ortega never really had that, like, buff body or whatever. He kind of had that little skinny fat thing going a little bit. So I don't think there's too much to read into that. But he is getting older. He's had some wars. He's had a long layoffs. His last fight against Yair, he looked great. I ended up submitting him. I believe it was, first, second round, finished him, and that was a rematch. So, I mean, I still do favor T-City in this fight. It's a 3-rounder. He's been 5 rounds before. Diego Lopez wasn't the most impressive fight last time. He hasn't really had that name yet. So, Dan Ige is a pretty decent name, but it's literally hours' notice. So, I mean, this is a true test for Diego. So, if he can get past Ortega, obviously, yeah, he's moving up in the ranks right there. But I got to go with the boy. I got to go with T-City. I think his jiu-jitsu is next level. Striking-wise, I don't know. I think he does have some pretty good boxing or even some decent kicks, some nice kickboxing. We haven't seen the best out of him. Lopez is a little more explosive, younger, quicker, hungrier lion. This is also battle of the hair. I mean, I don't know. They had a little back and forth, like who has a better hair, and I got to give T-City that nod too. You know what I mean? Like his hair grows back fast. I mean, he shaved his head in the past. He's already got it long. He's got I think they're strengthening his hair. You know what I mean? Like he's got that whole mafioso. He could be in the cartel type hairdo. Diego Lopez, I'm not sure. That's some new wave, Peso Pluma or some Bad Bunny type style. I mean, I don't really know. I'm not into that style. So I mean, I don't really know. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it's a little different. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I don't think it's everyone's cup of tea. Or T City's going with the whole classic, almost Steven Seagal or the guy from Karate Kid. Was it Karate Kid 3? What was his name? Not Kreese, the other guy, Terry Silver. He kind of got that look going to him. The same body type too. And I think this might just be either a stand-up fight because neither one of these guys are such great wrestlers. They're more in the jiu-jitsu round, both jiu-jitsu black belts. Ortega obviously was Henry Gracie's protege growing up. And so he's had that background for a long time. He come from the streets. He's got that little thug in him, that hood, you know what I mean? So he's definitely got that too, a dog in him as well. Never really been finished on the feet other than I think they threw in the towel, I think, against Holloway. But he was right there. He was banging with Holloway. He took a beating against Holloway. Personally, I think that was a horrible game plan he did against Holloway. He almost finished Volk a couple times, had him in some deep submissions. Volk was able to muscle through, and that was, we're talking about the best Volk at that time, not the declining Volk that we might be getting now. I don't even want to say he's declining because he's had a couple, brutal knockouts, losses in a row, but he still could come back and dominate. So who knows? But I'm going T-City. I'm going either a third round, like a submission, like maybe he could catch him on the ground just because he is a little different on the ground. Like he does go for the finish. Like when he gets somebody hurt or it ends up in that type of situation, he's pretty much dangerous anywhere. We've seen the guy do flying triangles. I mean, he's T-City. He could do triangle from anywhere. That's one of those submissions that you can't get from anywhere. Your back, on top, and airborne, whatever. And he's just dangerous everywhere. So I could see him. He's got wicked guillotines, like when he got Cub Swanson, like where it's a standing guillotine, basically. That was a classic T-City finish right there. So I think he is a little bit more like, he's definitely a more wily vet. He's more rugged. I mean, I think he's got the more dog in him. We'll see, though, because Lopez, obviously, he's from Brazil. Claims to fight like a Mexican. We'll see. I mean, he does kind of bring it. But like I said, the last fight, Ige was having a lot of success against him on short notice. So I think T-City got to be kind of kicking himself. Like, damn, if I was healthy that day, like I could have got that fight. Like, I was even saying that night. I was like, man, if T-City had just been able to make it to the fight, I think he takes that version of Diego Lopez, the two-time weight cut, that version. I don't know about a healthy training camp, Diego Lopez, specifically for Ortega. So we'll see. But I'm leaning, I'm picking T-City, third round submission, maybe a decision. We'll see. If it goes decision, I can maybe even see it going Lopez's way just because he was more of a fast starter. He was going to bring it. He's going to throw a lot more strikes and be in his face and try to make things happen. But that could also be to his detriment, because T-City is a sniper. He does have some power, but he also, like I said, he's a sniper in the sense where if you make a mistake, it could be the fight could be over as far as his submissions. And he's been around forever. Like I said, Henry Gracie's freaking protege. So, I'm going T-City on that one. Then we got the co-main, which I don't think a lot of people are really that excited about this fight. I mean, I wasn't. I went back and watched the first two fights. I still kind of was like, oh, man, like I wish we weren't having this fight. Because, I mean, I like Alessa Grasso. I like Shevchenko. The second fight, I do believe Shevchenko was doing better, more of the wrestling. Like you get credit to Alessa Grasso. She basically turned Valentina Shevchenko into a wrestler. I mean, this is multiple-time Muay Thai champion, bullet. She's a sniper. So many head kick knockouts and just outstriking everybody. She turned Valentina into a wrestler. So Valentina did not want anything to do with the stand-up game of Grasso. Grasso mixes up her hands, switches stances, throws a lot of good boxing. Her boxing is definitely on a different level than Valentina's, I think, and she's able to throw those straight punches and land on Valentina, especially from the southpaw stance. I was noticing Valentina's a little more kind of standoffish, kind of tight in there and just always looking to counter and wait for you to make a mistake, and kind of backing up, and then just trying to snipe. And then, so she was kind of timing Grasso. I think Grasso, they both have a lot to learn, obviously, from the two matchups. But I think because the first matchup, Valentina was ahead maybe 2 rounds and 1. After Valentina had got dropped by Grasso, Grasso was able to get the fourth round. She jumped her back. Valentina got a little careless and predictable with her spinning back kicks, and Alexa just timed it like unbelievably, like perfectly. Just jumped on her back, had the hooks in, face down, butt up. And the next thing you know, she rolled her over, and just squeezed. You could tell had a crazy squeeze. Valentina was turning red, and she had a tap. She choked her out. That was the first fight. Second fight, it was almost the exact same repeat of that. It was it could have been, I think it was 2-2 going. It could have either been 2-2 going into the fifth or 3-1 Valentina. But like I said, when she turned into a wrestler, like Valentina was literally every single time it was a hands exchange, because she got dropped in the first round. In the second fight, Alexa dropped her with a slick straight punch, straight left, I believe it was, and dropped her on her butt. And then so that definitely made her change her game plan. She was able to get the takedown. But when she gets the takedown, Grasso is really busy on the bottom. She's looking for submissions. She's constantly just tagging her up from the bottom. Wherever she's at, she's trying to do damage. She's trying to hit Valentina. Valentina was more or less trying to hold her down, hold position, basically. And now with the takedowns, like damage trumps all with the new rule set, I don't think these takedowns are going to be as big in the points scoring system. Like, is it going to count as much if Valentina just keeps getting takedowns and laying on her? She's going to have to go for submissions. She's going to have to go do some ground and pound. Otherwise, either the referee's going to stand him up, or it's just not going to count as much. If Grasso's throwing more strikes from the bottom and landing some big shots, up kicks and elbows and stuff like that from the bottom, that might actually count more than the actual takedown itself and being in that bad position. So that being said, I feel like Grasso could learn a lot more, because it seemed like anytime Valentina was able to take her down, it was because Grasso getting a little bit careless or a little overzealous, pushing the pace a little too much with the hands, throwing a nice combo up top, but also just getting a little reckless. And then Valentina would level change, take her down, dump her with a nice double leg. I mean, she had good timing. Obviously, that time kickboxing, she's coiled up like a cobra. She's a sniper out there. She's just waiting. And then as soon as she sees her opportunity, she could dive in with that quickness, and just really it's just good timing. Just like GSP had back in the day, just duck under, grab the double leg, take her down. So, I mean, that could happen again. I'm hoping it doesn't. I want to see more of a stand-up fight. But I think Grasso has more to learn from the previous two fights, and that's try to stay a little bit more composed in the pocket, not get too wild or too overzealous, throwing strikes, I'm not saying not throw combos, but just kind of stick and move a little more, and maybe get a little lower in her stance so she can be ready for those takedowns and those level changes. She does that, then it could be a long night for Valentina, because if Valentina can't take Grasso down and is forced to just basically stand and bang with her, like, yeah, she's a great kickboxer and all that, but in that boxing range, Grasso was piecing her up in both fights. She just a little quicker with the feet. Quicker with the hands, good footwork, constantly changing stances and doing all that. And because Valentina is a counter puncher, she's going to be waiting for Grasso, and Grasso's a little quicker, so it might not be a good recipe for her to sit and wait too much. She's going to have to try to bring the fight to Grasso. In that case, and maybe Grasso could even sit back and wait for Valentina to strike first, and then she could counter. I just think there's a lot more to learn from Grasso, maybe a little bit more fakes, trying to feints and stuff like that, get Valentina to even maybe fake a takedown, maybe throw some more knees up the middle, stuff like that, some elbows, some uppercuts. I think there's a lot more for Grasso to learn from, and I'm hoping Grasso gets the finish here, and I'm predicting another third, fourth round finish for Grasso. I'm thinking another submission. I think she's going to hurt her on the feet again, rock her, and then basically choke her out again. I think that's what I'm thinking is going to happen, like another rear naked choke. But I think that that's what I'm hoping for, because I want this trilogy to just be put to bed. The division's been held up for a long time. It's been a year since they fought. Like I said, I don't think a lot of people really cared about this fight. Now that it's here, I'm excited for it, just because I'm a big fan of Grasso, and I want to see her win. She's hot too, so it's like, yeah, there's that. But so it's kind of like it wasn't like the main fight I wanted. This card, like I said, is pretty lackluster. We all know that. 300 UFC 300, UFC 303 blow this card out of the water. This card is it's mediocre at best, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see if these guys show out. Sometimes those are the cards where everyone does come out, and we got a lot of Mexicans on this fight on Mexican Independence Day, talking a lot of shit. So hopefully they're gonna back it up and bring it. And you never know. Like I said, sometimes those are the cards that do deliver. The ones that aren't supposed to, they're the ones that do. And sometimes you have the main cards that are supposed to deliver, and they're just fucking. they're just shit. They're shit cards, shit fights. Nobody wants to pull the trigger, especially this is a Sphere, first time in history. It's supposed to be a one-off. We'll see how big it is, because I mean, even the cheap seats were like, the nosebleeds were like $600-700 a ticket. So I mean, I'm not sure if it's a sellout. Dana said it was a sellout. I mean, he's offering like 25 grand to a fan or something like that, some type of contest. So I mean, who knows what's true or not on that? But I was looking at the ticket price. I was like, damn, it would be nice if I could just fucking go, fuck it, just make a trip out to Vegas real quick. But like $700 for one ticket, nosebleeds. I mean, best seat in the house is right here in my house. So, I mean, I might as well just stay here and watch it. But, yeah, we'll see what's up with that. So, yeah, it's a huge card, the Sphere. It's a lot to – so I'm saying there'll be some nerves to play, but I still also think the world will be watching. Canelo's fighting later in the night. Or I don't know if he's going to wait like he did last time. He's going to wait till the UFC's done and then do his fight or what. But that's the UFC's rival is Canelo against I can't remember the guy's name. Bergeland, or I can't even think of the guy's name right now. Shit, I don't even know. But whatever, another guy he should run through, but who knows? Puerto Rican cat, I think. Clean cut looking dude. I don't know. We'll see. Now, I was tripping that Canelo has never been hurt or never dropped, actually, I should say. Never been rocked or knocked on his ass. And I don't know how many damn fights, 50, 60 fights. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty impressive. It just shows that he does have some good defense, not just power. But, anyway, that brings us to the main event, back to the UFC. That brings us to the main event, Sugar Sean O'Malley against Merab Dvalishvili, I think it is, something like that. I'm close enough, you know what I'm saying? The little guy, he's like 5'6", little Igor-looking dude, whatever. I mean, but he can fight. He could definitely wrestle, or he could at least take people down or hold them and stuff like that. So this fight, obviously, everybody kind of knows what the keys of victory is. Sean O'Malley's not a wrestler. He does have some pretty good jiu-jitsu. I believe he's a purple belt or something, and he's long. So, I mean, he's going to have the reach, the height advantage, great footwork on the outside, and he throws a lot of nice combos, and he has power, like what he did at Aljo. Aljo, sometimes he gets a little desperate with those takedowns, and he was reaching a little bit, got caught with that little step-back right hand that, O'Malley likes to throw. I can see the same thing happening in this fight if Merab is careless with the takedown. I don't see... I think later on maybe in the first round. The first round is going to be telling. If Merab could go, close that distance, get a hold of O'Malley, take him down, it's going to be a long, boring night for us fans and a long night for O'Malley. So we're hoping that doesn't happen. I mean, I'm picking O'Malley in this fight to get a knockout finish. I'm thinking Merab's a little hittable. He comes in a little like stand-up-ish and just straightforward, and I don't even think his striking is as good as Aljo, but at the same time, I'm just hoping, Sean didn't take him lightly in that ballpark, because Henry Cejudo was able to rock Merab for a second. Marlon Moraes cracked him real good when they fought. And but I want to say that I think Merab, I'm not saying his wrestling is overrated. I mean, I'm sure he takes my big ass down, no problem. But I mean, he 16, 17 takedown attempts, couldn't take the great Jose Aldo down at a lighter weight at 135. And we all know that freaking Aldo's, is legendary takedown defense, but Merab was not able to take him down. And, nowhere near Sean's nowhere near that level as far as takedown defense, but he also has the range and good footwork and good feint game, and he could get Merab to bite or show his hand a little bit early and capitalize on that. And he has great lateral movement. Like I said, his footwork's good, some of the best, and he has power. He has real power. He's rocked people. Although Chito took everything he had, knees and all, but he still does have power. I'm not sure Merab has that type of chin, but he does have the cardio. That's why he's called the machine. He could go 5 rounds. Against Peter Yan, I think he attempted 49 takedowns, only had maybe 12, 13 successful, which shows that he will just keep holding and keep going for it. So if O'Malley just finds himself up against the cage, it could be a long night for him, just because Merab's just going to hold him there the whole time if he has to, whatever he has to do to try to get the takedown. But when he gets the takedown, he doesn't get a lot of submissions. He doesn't do a lot of damage, not a lot of ground and pound there. So I don't think Sean's in that much danger if he does get taken down. So I think we might even be able to see some of Sean's jiu-jitsu, what he's got going on. Like I said, long limbs. He's got the reach, long legs. So, I mean, he might be able to pull off something on Merab. Those skinny arms, might be able to get in there and get some, get a freaking choke in or guillotine or darce or something. So I mean, it's interesting to see, like, when it does go to the ground, if or when it does go to the ground, if O'Malley is he going to be able to get up right away? Is he going to try a submission game? Is he going to do some damage from the bottom? If anything, I think he just needs to keep it standing and get up and try to just keep that range, keep Merab at that range where he can land his shots and Merab can just get predictable with his takedowns and kind of like Aljo did, Aljo, when he kind of just got a little predictable, a little overzealous with that, and then got ate a right hand. So we might see more of the same here. Like, I think Merab does get a little predictable because, like I said, he'll start shooting desperately. You don't shoot 49 takedowns. And Peter Yan has some great, Piotr, he has some good takedown defense himself. So, I mean, he still defended like 30-some plus freaking takedowns in that fight. It was just Merab was so relentless with it and being able to get in. But they're more like close in stature and height, and the range, and plus because Yan is trying to get in there and box more, and I think O'Malley has a little bit more tools and more rangy than Yan. So, I mean, I'm picking O'Malley. I'm thinking like a second round TKO or KO on that. If it goes to the distance, that probably means that, Merab basically was able to get a hold of him or hold him up against the cage or keep taking him down. But I don't see him tapping O'Malley. I just feel like it'll just be like a lay and pray type situation, and it'll just be outworking, O'Malley. But we'll see, though. We'll see what the gas tank's like. There's rumors that he had staph on his arm. He had stitches. I mean, that he took out with these big-ass house scissors. Some Edward Scissorhand type shit. He took those out. I think that, I don't know if that was more of a show just to piss off Dana more or just troll him or what. He's drinking beer, doing his Mexican hat dance. So I mean, he's a clown for sure. He's trying. He's trying to do his best to sell the fight and do the social media thing. But I also think that skill-wise, I'm not sure his wrestling is going to be that elite to be. I mean, he took down Cejudo. He did take down an Olympic gold medalist. But I've already had this conversation that, Cejudo's wrestling, the freestyle wrestling game is not the same as folk style. Like, he went through the Olympic ranks and that style of wrestling, not to hold you down, drag you out, and control your opponent type of wrestling. It's more for points, speed, explosiveness, stuff like that. And that doesn't always translate well. Folk style, I think even Greco will probably translate a little better than freestyle. Obviously, wrestling is wrestling, but you got to take into consideration like the cage and also controlling your opponent and doing damage when you have them down. You don't just take them down just to get points, roll them over, get more points. It's not happening. These guys are too good. Nowadays they're so rounded. So Merab was able to actually out grapple and take down, I think, Cejudo like 6 times, and no one saw that coming in 3 rounds. So, I mean, yeah. So I'm picking O'Malley. I got O'Malley, Grasso. Both of them are keeping their belts, and I'm going Brian T. City. I'm still riding with T. City. He's going to do it. He's going to choke out, or he's going to get a decision over Diego Lopez. I'm leaning he's going to get a submission, though. I think he might hurt him on the feet. We'll see. I don't want to underestimate him. Skinny, fat body or not, I think he's still going to be right there. He's had a training camp for this. His mindset, he got away from Tracy Cortez. He's been, like 6-8 months removed now, back with his family, doing his thing. So last time he was talking about, like, beating up neighbors that are making too much noise and all that. So now, I think, like, his head's straight. But, yeah, that's all I got. This MMA Grind, new channel. Look for it. And like, subscribe. And that's all I got.